Is that time of the year? Welcome back to the preview show here for Los Alamitos Race Course. It's that time of the year, Chris. 2-year-old action every which way. Quarter horse racing is underway. We got trials for the Kindergarten Futurity this Sunday, and I know you got plenty of more tracks to pick up on the simulcast signal, right?
Yeah, we're picking up Sam Houston. Their seasons, the quarter season starts this Friday, and we're taking 8 races. Mm-hmm. Races 3 through 10 at Sam Houston, and races 5 through 12 at Remington Park. And guess what? Delta Down starts next Friday, so it's going to be packed with all the quarter horse tracks all at once this time of the year. And it's one of my favorite times of year. With all these babies, you get lots of opportunities to pick and get some new prices.
We're not going to be sleeping much the next 2 weeks here, but this what makes it exciting because we got plenty of races to look at, plenty of videos, and plenty of promises with these 2-year-olds. So we're going to take a look at Saturday's program and Sundays as well once we bring up Professor G. But we're going to focus on Saturday's card with you because there was a horse that really caught the eye very, very much so in race number 9, right?
Yeah, that was In Doubt, the 3 horse. Yes. This horse had worked nicely previously. He's a nice size runner and had a good amount of trouble away from the gate, broke slow, kind of head high and skied in, was kind of slow into stride. But once this horse leveled out on own, he made up a ton of ground to be a very good second to a well-met runner and winner. And this horse galloped out very, very strong and gets more yardage this evening. Goes from that 220-yard event to 300 yards, so extra 80 yards makes this horse triple tough to deny. And I know it's a 7-5 morning line, but horse is talented. You got to give the horse a look.
I gotta show this video backtrack here. Here it is. In Doubt. She's a filly. She was in gate number 4, so she was number 5 horse. So the number 5 horse here this night on March 26th. And what did you see in this replay, Chris?
Well, yeah, she didn't get away all that well. She kind of broke slow, leaned back at the start, and kind of head high away from the gate, and got bumped back a little bit, and kind of slow into stride, but as a nice size runner, was actually crossed by the 4 here. But watch this big finish on with just a couple shakes of the rein. It was finishing very strongly under a hold. The winner caught a flyer and kept on going. But look at that galloped out very, very strong, passed the whole field, and wasn't even taking a deep breath, wasn't being asked. And that's at 220 yards. Now gets 300 this coming weekend, and with Ian close to a decent getaway, the horse figures triple tough to deny. Facing a pretty good group of some first-time starters in there, but this horse, the race experience, should be very tough to beat in that 9th event.
Once you saw how she leveled out after the rider found her a little bit of daylight, she really, picked it up without really being asked for much. So the extra distance should be a major positive for this filly, and the experience should be a major positive as well, because we've seen the experienced runners, even if they didn't run all that too well, they really showed significant improvement, at least this season in the last few starts.
Oh, yeah. Race experience makes a big difference, and it just wakes these horses up. And this is a Scott and Doctor trained horse, and well-meant, well-bred, and looks every bit that Los Alamitos equine sale purchase price off that debut. And this horse is going to be triple tough to deny, facing a pretty good group of first-time starters with talent. But with that race experience, should be tough to beat in that the 9th event in the late pick 4 lid lifter.
Well, we know all those terrific bloodlines of the homebreds of Dr. Ed Allred, but when he goes out and purchases one for $70,000 from another breeder, this one caught the eye and they had to promise. So show plenty of promise. In Doubt, 7-5 on Ed Burgart's morning line. So that is Chris's selection for Saturday night. That is race number 9, the start of the late double. A little bit of a recap. You're going to picking up more racetracks for the simulcast in the Islands as well. We're picking up Sam Houston Race Park, races 3 through 10, and Remington Park, races 5 through 12 on Saturday. And like I said, next week, Delta Down starts. So we're going to be even more busier than busy in upcoming weeks. Our favorite time of year with all these quarter horse tracks opening up and running, and taking lots of simulcasts for the public. Well, that's a fun time of the year to be able to handicap and wager on some of these quarter horse races around the country. Chris, thanks so much for that analysis, and we'll see you out there this weekend at Los Al. Welcome back. Now joined by track analyst Michael Rono. Michael, I thought I was going to see you on top of an airplane. I thought I was going to see you somewhere via remote location, but good to see you're back home.
Yes. I was up in the Bay Area for Easter, and I had promised you an obscure venue for today's recording. We're recording this on a Thursday afternoon. The plan had been to fly back Friday morning. However, we ended up on a flight last night. The weather forecast for Thursday in the Bay Area was not that great. There was no one we could catch up with today, so we just thought we'd head back and see Bindi the cat a little earlier than expected, and that made Bindi happy.
Well, good to see Bindi's enjoying her humans. Is it a he or a she?
A she.
Okay, yeah. So she's enjoying her humans back home.
She's very pleased at our reappearance, and I must tell you how impressed I was with that photo you posted on Twitter of your Easter smorgasbord of wonderful food. That looked very tempting. Great job.
They put me to work on the grill. I grilled some chicken, some ranchera steak, which is carne asada, a lot of the certain cut of steak, and some spicy sausage mixed with some rice and beans. It was terrific. We had a great time at home. We had some little cousins at home, and I hid some eggs for my daughters and little cousins, so they had a blast here at home. We had a good time.
Wonderful. Well done.
All right, so let's take a look at Saturday's program, and you're going to take us to the fifth race, which actually begins the Pick 6, 10-race program on Saturday night, and the Pick 6 does begin here with race number 5.
Yes, it's a 1,000-yard maiden, and nap time number 2 made my watch list with her debut back on the 5th of February when she was out of the money, but was really starting to warm up in the home stretch, and it was a very good gallop out. She was eye-catching on that occasion, subsequently a little bit disappointing twice when in for a tag, although she did stretch out to a mile in Arcadia for her second start. Then she cut back in distance to Lozelle, was a little bit disappointing on that occasion. But I think she might be heading in the right direction again, Jose, because the most recent run, her first for a new barn, was very encouraging. She showed a lot more early speed and battled very gamely at about 14-1 on the inside in the home stretch.
Yes, take a look at the start. She drew the inside post. She was 14-1, and she was 14-1 because she had just ran against maiden claimers. But I got to give her credit because she was stepping up. There was a few daytime runners in this spot, daytime circuit, and she held her own very gamely.
Yes, she did. I was encouraged that her new trainer, Robert Lucas, had the confidence to put her back up into a maiden special weight, and she outran her odds. She's on the inside, working hard throughout, and she ends up finishing second, beaten less than a length. She actually finished a nose in front of Take It to the Bank, who is also lining up in this race on Saturday night. But it was a good game effort, and I think there still might be a little bit of upside to come here. I like her chances at 7-2, third choice on the morning line.
And that eventual winner, Big Creek, was the second time over the oval. I think Big Creek ran second first time out as a big favorite from the daytime, and then came back and showed better improvement. So nothing wrong with that effort from any of the top 3 runners, but it's got to be encouraging the way nap time got out of the gate. That's probably the best. Actually, that's the best she's gotten out of the gate in all her 4 starts up to this point.
Yes, I'm very encouraged by the improved early speed. And speaking of a lack of early speed around the turn, it's all very easy to sit back and take the compliments that you dish out if I happened to have picked a winner the previous week. I'm going to put up my hand, Jose. Even though it's only April, I'm going to declare that there won't be a worse pick for the rest of the year by any of us on this preview show than Invicta Tartus last week. Is he finished yet? I think he's still coming.
He might still running the clubhouse turn around the Costco parking lot. Honestly, I did not see that horse on the screen down the backstretch. I don't know what kind of effort was that.
Yeah, it's always a risk going with a horse who has no early or tactical speed, but that was atrocious. So
yeah, and I like that horse as well.
Only do better than Invicta Tartus did last week. I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, and I like that horse as well. But yeah, that was a non-effort, by the way. So here's a look once again at the past performances. There's a 9-5 favorite on Uncle Wilburn. We saw Take It to the Bank finishing just behind Nap Time. But I think you're going to get every bit of that 7-2 there on the morning line.
Yeah, I think it's a decent price. Third choice in the wagering. Good enough value for me. So let's try Nap Time on a weekend of terrific 2-year-old racing. The late pick 4 on Saturday, exclusively 2-year-olds. I counted about 25 gatework video scripts that I'll be voicing before the races on Saturday. And I've just been perusing the Sunday fields that came out a short time ago. 7 trials to the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. Going to be a great weekend for the juveniles.
Can't wait. I won't get much sleep typing all the comments for the Nightlines and watching all the videos, but it is a fun time of the season because this is where the excitement begins, seeing how these 2-year-olds develop. Michael, thanks so much for that selection. Let's see if Nap Time can run much better than Invictitatas last week.
I hope Nap Time doesn't doze off in the gate. I want to see this horse show a bit of early dash.
I like that. I'll see you out there here this weekend at Los Al.
Okay, mate, hooroo.
Burns Ranch Stallions are strong in 3-year-old stakes. A favorite Cartel won the El Primero.
Botail Golden Boy gets up to score.
Separate Interest had 2 finalists in the Los Alamitos Oaks. So did Walk Through Fire, including runner-up Fire Fast Honey.
Sweet Test comes at Fire Fast Honey in a photo.
Burns Ranch also stands Fly Through the Fire, Mental Error, Foose, and MP Shining. Let Burns Ranch help you plan your racing future.
Racing fans, we're thrilled to announce that the Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals return to Los Alamitos Racecourse for our 25th running on Saturday night, July 16th. And if you have a dachshund that loves to run or simply loves to meet new friends and have fun, then let us know. Your Doxy could be our next big winner on Wiener Nationals night. Who will be the fastest wiener in the West? We can't wait to find out. The Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals at Los Alamitos Racecourse, Saturday night, July 16th.
The Wiener Nationals are back, Professor G. Welcome back to the program. And George Duarte, our Equibase chart caller, joining us here on the show. Professor, what's the Wiener Dogs are back, right?
Finally, after a long wait. I mean, Baby Bo is the only 3-time winner, and he's the longest reigning champion of the Wiener Nationals. I mean, he's held that belt now for like 6 years, it seems like, since we haven't had an event since 2020. But it should be a great event back at Los Alamitos. I can't wait. We are already getting entries, and from what I feel, the excitement's pretty good because I'm just getting entries all the time, new entries, new dogs getting ready to run. They've been also barking at an opportunity to get back into the Wiener National. So I can't wait. It's going to be a fun night, Saturday, July 16th. And if you guys know anybody, and I know, Jose, you must go to the dog park quite a bit. So if you see any dachshunds out there, let them know that the Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Nationals are back. The 25th running will happen this year. George, I don't know if you're a cat or dog lover, but if you see any dachshunds around in your whereabouts, I know you're everywhere. Let them know that the Wiener Nationals are back here at Los Al.
Will do.
So you mentioned Baby Bo, Professor G. Is he excluded? Like, I know there was a limit. You're like, all right, we got to give you a break, but is he back in it?
He will. Hopefully, he's part of the night, but he will not be in the actual main event races. Okay. We'll find some kind of special event for Baby Bo. I don't know who's gonna run against Baby Bo, but it's gonna have to be some really fast creature going against Baby Bo, 3-time champion.
We're going to talk about the trials here on Sunday night. They're fresh. I just printed these out, Professor. Look, there's no notes in them. That's how fresh they are. They just came out. So haven't had a ton of time to kind of dissect every single race, but we do have plenty of familiar faces that we already saw. But George, I've been noticing you've been doing some extended comments for the charts as well, right?
Yeah, I always felt there wasn't enough on the short comment to put what happened in the race. So I was like, I have the power to add more. So I decided, if bettors, they want to dig more and see more, the information's there that I created for them, and hopefully they can find a winner through it.
All right, before we get started, are we doing a pizza challenge? What's with the consensus picks? What's the deal here?
Always. It's
right.
tradition.
Let's
Two traditions that we have in the press box.
Okay.
Jose. whenever we have a Grade 1 stakes race, we turn down the lights in the press box. It's a dark out.
Yes.
Because it's a special event. It's like going to the big movie theater for for the big premiere of a big movie. We turn the lights out in the press box to watch a Grade 1 race. And whenever we have a fun night of trials like this Sunday with the kindergarten, it's consensus time, and there's a pizza on the line, and also the belt. The hitman, I'm sure, is going to be part of the competition. We got George, we got Chris Wade. You're in it. We'll see who wins it all, and whoever finishes last has to bring a pizza.
All right, and George, the consensus elections will be available on losalamitos.com and also in the print edition of the Nightlines. But George, recap how the point system. There's been drama over the years about how the point system, and I've seen the drama unfold after the races when I go up to the press box. Professor's over there screaming at Hitman. George is being the mediator between Hitman and Professor G. So let us know right now. Lay it down. How is the point system here for the consensus?
So if the horse wins, you get the win money.
Okay.
If he runs second, he gets place, and if he runs third, you get show money for your top pick. And to say your second pick wins, right? You get the place, or how does it work? I don't even remember.
Yeah, you get the exacta.
Yeah, you get the exacta, and if you get the try, it's half the
You
money
get
of
half.
the try.
Yeah, because if you hit a trifecta, that could end the contest right there.
Yeah.
So just to
So
keep
at
it
least half.
competitive, we cut it in half. And because you brought up that question, that lets me know that the hitman's been like, screaming in your ear or something, because he loves to complain every time about, whenever he loses is because I did something like change
You
the
did some
rules.
tweaking.
It's always the same.
He is a Lakers fan, and you know how it's been all about the refs this season and back and forth. So maybe he's practicing, Orlando. Maybe he's practicing back and forth. So
Sure.
that's the layout grounds of as far as what we're doing for the consensus there, for a little bit of a friendly wager. Somebody gets treated with pizza. That's the bottom line. But Professor, lay it down for us. How many trials on Sunday night here for this card?
Yeah, we're going to have 7 trials, 55 horses in there. And I think they're going to be the most interesting set of trials, because only 10 of these horses out of the 55 have not raced already.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we have these 220-yard races. Instead of needing to have 2 workouts, they can have 1 workout, then go 220 yards. So we've had all these horses that have kind of put that second work in that 220-yard race per se. And that makes this very interesting, a lot more potential for us to kind of handicap these races, because we've seen these horses run at least one time already. So only 10 horses will be making their debut. The rest of them we've seen already. And like George mentioned, he's put in a ton of information on the charts, pretty much detail by detail for per every yard, per every part of the race, on how these horses perform. So for handicappers, they're going to have all the information laid out right there. The charts are available on equibase.com, also on Formulator, DRF Formulator as well. So we're ready for what should be a great night of trials.
Yeah, and also if you get the Nightlines, I try to add a little bit more also as well, as far as trip notes, comments, maybe some breeding notes. A good thing that the Nightlines added maybe, a year ago or 2 years ago, Orlando, was the sale price of these 2-year-olds, right? At the sales. That was an information that years past we didn't have. And I used to research it by, manually, but now it's in the Nightlines as well.
Yeah, and the Nightlines as well. If the horse all at Heritage, Ruidoso, Texas, Los Alamitos, any of those big sales, we're going to have the price right there. And that helps a lot, because, you can kind of see, who wanted these horses a lot. Sometimes we'll see horses that have sold for upwards of $200,000, and that kind of gives you, you got to pay a little bit more attention to those horses. If a horse didn't sell for as much, then you kind of want to, take that into consideration. Sometimes that it also explains some of the reasoning behind some of the moves that the owners and trainers might make as far as claiming races or where to place them, if they're going to enter them in the 2 million or so forth. Because also remember, a lot of these horses are paid into these races since there were weanlings as well. So we get to see, which horses, the payments continued as well in these races. That tells you a little bit of what the horsemen think of them.
Yeah, so that's useful information that you can get from the Nightlines programs. as well. And the Professor D notebook. We can't forget about the Professor D notebook that he puts out there in the night lines.
Yeah, I'm gonna have kind of an easy night on Sunday
Yes.
night because I was thinking, man, I'm gonna have to do like 30 of these,
Yeah, like,
right up, but nope, just 10 of them, just
Yeah.
10 of them. So it's all good.
That's when we're spoiled, right, Orlando? When I'm like, I don't have to stay up that late to do all these comments. I don't have to work out all these 2-year-olds with first time starters. So just a handful, and I think that's pretty nice. That's that horses already have experience leading into this races, so that's something to watch. All right, let's tackle this card. 7 trials, and I believe I'm one ahead. I'm in race number 4 is the beginning of those trials. Yeah, race number 4. So we'll start with the guests first. So we'll always start with George here and kind of look at this field top to bottom. And I'll show this. I'll blow up the past performances now. So first race, George, field of 8 runners. There's only one first-time starter. And actually, there was only 2 debut winners, inside and outside, Muy Buen Corona. Let's start with the horses that won. I know Muy Buen Corona was well meant, and he took plenty of money. What do you think about moving to the outside post now for a horse like this?
Well, you were speaking about the sale price. That one they paid $100,000. So, and that's Keith Nelson, he owns the KVN Corona, so he means business when he spent that much. So yeah, that's my one concern with this horse is the outside post. Like I don't I like when there's 6 horses and then they're outside, but once it gets to 8, 9, and 10. They say they've never been out that wide, and I see sometimes they tend to lug out or they start looking around because they've never been that far out, and sometimes they lose contact with the field if they break out, and that's the only thing I think they can get this horse beat. He was very professional last time. I would ignore that he broke out. I think Eduardo did that intentionally because most of the time horses tend to break in when they first learning to run, so he made sure not to break in. He broke out. And he cruised. I thought he went really well.
Outside of that runner, is there anyone else that might have caught your eye a little bit? I mean, none of the other runners took a significant amount of money first time out. Maybe outside of J Perfect Deal, maybe that's a runner that took a little bit of money. But outside of the others kind of ran up to, I would say, the odds. They weren't expected really to be lights out first time out.
Yeah, the inside horse I thought ran in good. He came in at the start and bumped and he won a little bit easier than it looked. She was under a hand ride the whole time. It was a good, debut. I thought ran good, but my issue is the rail. Especially with 8 horses, you don't get that extra slot open like you do in a smaller field. So she's going to be really in there. She can't make any mistakes. If she comes in again, I think that's her race. She lost it right off the start. So for that horse, I think for the both of them, they got to avoid going too far out or too far in. That's the only thing that could beat them. I think they should run 1-2 pretty easily in this race.
Professor, didn't you like Navaja first time out? Because I remember that was part of a 3-team workout, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I like that horse going into that debut. I like the fact that it's a homebred. Jesus Nava on Just Flashy, who was a pretty solid 2-year-old, competed in some futurities at Los Alamitos, qualified to a few things at Los Al, and we were talking about how those, how the horsemen paid their horses into races. That tells you a little bit of what they think. And Nava has paid already to the Los Alamitos Super Derby. That's the star designation that we see right there. So they really like this runner. It goes from the outside post to the inside post, and having this horse shown some pretty good ability early on, broke pretty nicely, took the lead shortly after that. I think that's a pretty good sign for Navaja. Another horse that I like is the 5, J Perfect Deal.
Yeah.
Horse worked really nicely. Didn't have to pay a lot for this horse. Only $10,000 for J Perfect Deal. Lunged a little bit leaving there, and I actually liked this horse prior to that race, but he went against a monster, and he's chickless. So now nicely placed next to a couple of horses that don't break super fast. If J Perfect Deal can get a fast start, should have some room to operate there. I think the 8 will be tough. I think the 1 will be tough. I like the 5 as well.
And let's not overlook some of these prior workouts that these 2-year-olds had beforehand, because maybe their starts are going to kind of take away their eyes to what they had done previously. So you might get a sneaky price on a horse that didn't have the best of starts first time out, but had a pretty decent workout prior to that. Like the 1 in 1240, the 5 had gone in 1240 in both drills, and Movia Corona was well meant in 1230. So this looks like a straightaway type of race. Like I don't see any significant upsets. I'm kind of seeing it the same way as you guys. This might be that trifecta consensus where you get some separation if you can knock out the trifecta right off the bat. All right, so as we move along through the races, guys, if you guys want to see any replays, let me know and I'll bring it up. Any replay that you guys want to see for a specific course, I'll work behind the scenes here to bring it up. All these trials, 300 yards. Second of these trials, field of 8. One Sweet Bar was a betting favorite first time out, George. He was in gate 5. Now he moves towards the outside.
Yeah, well, speaking of replays, that's one of the ones I'd want to see. Would be especially the head on. If you watch the head on, I can kind of tell you what I saw and why I think this is my best bet of the night.
Nice.
Is One Sweet Bar in this race, and I think it'd be hard to beat. If you show the head on, I'll try to show you what I saw and what I liked.
Here's a replay, courtesy of LosAlamitos.com. Right, here we go. This is a One Sweet Bar's replay, April 2nd, race number 8. And I'm going to show the head on because that's the one you want to see. And what did you end up seeing in this race? He was the 5 horse, right?
Yeah, so bumps in, still hasn't leveled. He's still a little goofy on the stride. See how he's kind of crooked? See that he's still not straightening out. He keeps kind of moving. He still not like he switches leads late, and then he just never leveled. And then he galloped that well. He's catching the 1 there. So I thought he finished well, and that was an educational debut. Especially the outside, just maintain a straight path, and I think he's going to win. I think rather easily.
You can see.
You also
on this one right there, how he catches the 1 on that on the drone shot. See how he keeps switching the stride, like he was stretching out, then he stops, and he's still learning.
And as a little bonus there, you also saw a little bit of J Perfect Deal that was also part of that race. And you saw that J Perfect Deal was actually ahead of One Sweet Bar early on. So that horse does have pretty good speed, but a good finish from One Sweet Bar. And I think I actually talked to Lindolfo Diaz about this horse, and we showed that interview prior to this horse's debut. 5 Bar Cartel runner that Lindolfo thought that had worked really nicely. So
you like the 8, George? Who do you like here in this spot, Professor?
You know what? I kind of agree with George. The 8 looked pretty good. I remember, like I mentioned, talking to Lindolfo, and he was pretty high on this horse. 5 Bar Cartel. We don't get to see many of these horses here in California, but because he stands in Louisiana. But he was a tremendous runner. How about the 5 Firewall? Another horse that we also talked about in previous shows, Jose. The finish time there wasn't that fast. Davis Last Patriot won that race in 12:38. Firewall went 12:43. But if I remember correctly, that week we had some kind of slowish, kind of on the slowish side of times compared to some other weeks.
Yeah.
But I still think that Firewall ran a pretty good race.
I'll bring up the replay real quick of Firewall because that horse went favorite first time out, and we all thought he was going to deliver a pretty good performance, but he ended up on the outside post this night. She ended up on the outside post. She was a betting favorite in that race. And you're right. The times weren't as fast as we had seen in previous races and previous 2-year events up to that point. Overall, I think she ran a pretty professional race. Not a ton of moving in and out. I think that's the main takeaway, that she kept a fairly straight path once she kind of moved inwards a bit at the start. But after that, she was pretty professional the rest of the way, second best. 2
horses that are going to be first-time starters are going to be on the inside, Declare Mr. Perry and Val Keterano. So, kind of a disadvantage there, you think, Jose, since they're going to be going inside in their debut, while the other horses that have more experience, get the rail, get the, the middle of the track, the outside post.
Yeah, it's and we've seen it this year, like where significantly the experience has been just that much more important for some reason. We've seen horses run well, run back very, very impressively, and also not only are the experienced runners on this field coming in with the experience, but some of them had even worked better than what both Declare Mr. Perry and Val Queretano had done as well. So I think that's double tough as well for the 2 and the 3 to put up a big performance. So I like the 5 Firewall, but I can see One Sweet Bar running a big performance there from the outside post. All right, let's move.
Mention, Jose, is the purse.
Yes.
Yeah, the final of the Kindergarten Futurity will have $257,500 here for this Grade 2 event, the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. So nice money for these horses to chase. And already on Saturday night, I know you've talked to Chris Wade and Michael Rona. We're going to have 4 races for 2-year-olds, and those horses are going to start preparing for the Ed Burke Million. So this is just the beginning of what should be an outstanding season of futurity races here at Los Alamitos. Over $250,000 purse here in the kindergarten.
And two runners is I might have missed it, but I didn't see He's Chickless in these trials, right? I don't think I saw him.
Or Marcelo. You know, those 2 horses.
Those 2 horses, yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to Jesus Nunez this morning. They were going to wait for the next set of trials. Same thing for He's Chickless.
All right, so let's go to the next trial here, race number 6. All of them at 300 yards. This is a field of 8. This is a pretty interesting trial, I thought, because there's runners that had significant kind of troubled lines that you can definitely make a strong case for. But I think we could all agree, George, that One Sweet Duck looked very impressive, and she lived up to the speed of her mom. You remember her mom? She used to be a very fast gate horse, and this filly showed up on debut with a strong performance.
Yeah, she ran exactly like her mom. It was very reminiscent. She even had a little minor trouble. She kind of jumped the lights a little. She shied away from them, so she could still improve. So the only issue for me would be the rail, but I'm actually going to pick AJ's Run for Cash. I thought the workout prior to the race was the most impressive at the time, and she just lost all chance at the start. When she loaded in, she went in a little too far, and she kind of hit the front of the gate, and that kind of spooked her. And then she started moving around. It was just hard to handle, and she just came away slow. So hopefully now she knows what to expect this time, and I think she'll show what she can really do. And if the posts were switched, I would go with One Sweet Duck, but I don't like the rail, and like how Ed mentioned last year, this will be the first time where she's going to go through the gap instead of starting at the end of the gap. So I rather take my chances with a better price and a better post.
Well, that might be a sign that the Juan Aleman barn might have a big night, George, because they've got some nice runners the rest of the night. Orlando, I've had pretty good success with the offspring of BF Outrageous over the last couple of seasons. BF Emily's Outrage kind of fits that bill. She ran very well, so that's a runner I'm kind of leaning to right now. We'll have to wait for the morning line, but I would imagine she's going to be a pretty solid price. But what did you think of this race?
BF Outfoos, is that the one you're mentioning? Because that horse did a lot of futurities maybe a couple of years ago. BF Outfoos, including perhaps the kindergarten. I know the horse qualified to the Ed Burke Million Futurity. A horse that, if you have a chance, can we maybe see Corona Surprise?
Sure.
From the barn of Adan Farias. This horse had a little bit of trouble in that race. And Adan Farias told me last year how, he expected to have a much better season in 2022 with his 2-year-olds. We already see him win an impressive race with Price Fixer last week. We've seen some horses that have worked really nicely from his barn. Mamba Cartel is going to be racing from his barn this Saturday night. And Corona Surprise ran second to Itinerary, ran second to In Doubt. And In Doubt ran a monster race against Itinerary in this race right here. Corona Surprise finishing third. Going to break from post number 3. So he's the number 4 horse in here, but breaking from post number 3. Going to show a little bit of speed and then kind of tail off a little bit, but let's see Corona Surprise.
A little bit of a bobble, sluggish start there.
Look at that speed right here.
Yep.
Now remember, this is a 220-yard race. Big move by In Doubt right there to outfinish him for second. And In Doubt is I can't remember the odds exactly, but he's like 7-5 or 9-5 on the morning line.
True, for Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Chrono Surprise should break a little bit better if she does. Should be on the lead, and let's see how the horse can handle those final 100 yards.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
if you watch the end of that, when the horse lugs in, you can see Rodrigo noticed the horse lugging in, and he was kind of hesitant. And I think that's what cost him second. So that minor trouble, I think, cost her second. And it looks worse on paper. It looks like she's tired and weakened and won't handle the 300, but I think she'll be fine with 300.
So there's only. Do we have any first-time shouters in here? No. This all
Yeah.
everybody has experience. So this is going to be a very interesting race because, it looks like the big favorite is going to be the inside post, and that could be tricky. So this race, I think, is very, very interesting, and it will be the start of a rolling pick 3. All right, let's move on to race number 7, 4th division of these trials. This does begin the late pick 4. We got a field of 8 runners in this spot, and no first-time starters once again. So all experienced runners in this spot. There's actually 1 horse, 2 horses that went favored first time out. The 2 Mad Boy, who delivered a gutsy performance, winning by a nose, and then Chick's First Flash, who finished second best to the impressive Marcella, who we just mentioned, George. But what do you think of this field?
Well, I know I'm going to be rooting for because it's going to be a loud response if this horse wins. Because last time, Mornings with Maria,
Yes,
the owners were all by the finish line. They thought they got up on right at the wire, and they were so heartbroken when the photo came down and they saw they didn't win. So I'm going to be rooting for that one. And I thought she was best in that race. She got bumped around, and under hand urging rallied, I thought, pretty well. And as long as and it wasn't her trouble that she caused. She didn't break slow. She didn't break in. She just got pushed in and bumped. And so I think, with that experience, she didn't give up. A lot of horses, when they get bumped around, they get intimidated and back out, especially first time. They don't know what's going on. So she showed heart. I like that. So that's what I'm gonna be rooting for, and that's what I think is gonna win.
There's a replay from her. She's in gate number 3 this night, and she went off at a nice price of 4-1. But watch the start. The trouble was pretty significant, and like you mentioned, some of these horses tend to give up, throwing the towel, and kind of finish evenly. She kept a gutsy performance here, and watching it live, I thought she had won when I watched it live.
Yeah, so did the owners. They were screaming and yelling, and look, she gallops out well, so the extra distance is not an issue. I really like her tonight.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you're making there, George. Just having the fans, and not only the fans, but also the owners to, be all over the track, kind of following their horse everywhere. That's something that we've missed the last couple of years, but we're going to have it here for these kindergarten trials. And, especially right now, early on in the season, there's so much hope, so much expectation. They've been waiting for several months now to see their horses perform in a trial race. So, those are great sounds, to hear those fans just screaming, going crazy, and hearing the owners as well going crazy when their horses, come close to winning. Because remember, it's just battling against the time. So even if you finish second, they could still qualify and move on to the final.
And one horse that really surprised me off of this field, Orlando, and I'm pretty sure it surprised a lot of people, was J. El Intocable, because he had not really shown much in the workout, but there was a little note that, look, this one comes from the family of champion J. Fire Up, and he almost upset the field at 12-1 in that same race as Mad Boy back on April 2nd.
And those, there's a bunch of them with that J. El Soberano, J. El Intocable. And, you and I have, and as well as Ed Berger, we've traded a few texts trying to, get them all figured out because they have several names. But, definitely a nice effort from J. El Intocable last out. Can he carry that form at 220 yards into this 300-yard race? Do they all? No, they don't always do it, and we think, all right, the extra distance is going to be there. And it's not always that easy, but, some horses, are just sharper at 220. They're not going to get there at 300, even though they showed that speed, that nice closing kick at 220.
This is a replay. We're going to see Mad Boy in gate number 4. He's the number 4 horse. And Jay Intocable is the 7 horse. So 4 and 7. So let's watch this replay. 4 and 7 is how we're going to focus. Mad Boy, the 4. Jay Intocable, the 7 horse. And Mad Boy had the best of the break in this field. You can see there, clean start, nice path. But here comes Jay Intocable, showing a good run in the second half of the race.
Jay Intocable was moving around a little bit in the gate. That maybe helped Mad Boy to get the better start, but a nice finish from the Jaime Gomez trainee. And, pretty active galloper, good energy, pretty lively there around after the wire.
George, who would you take? Would you take the speed of the 4, Mad Boy, or would you take the closing kick of Jay Intocable?
I would have to go with Intocable. I think he has more upside. Like, if you see, like, right here on the replay, he's down at least a lane. When he gets to the 16th, that's when he's, is closer. But he finished well. Look at those strides at the end. They're just really stretching out. Like, and then Jaime, trained Doc's best card. He's gonna, he knows how to train this breeding is all him.
This is all him, yeah.
And the sire, so he's fully comfortable with these horses. He knows he's had a lot of success with Doc's best card sire horses, and that maiden race. That's not where he's trying to win. He's trying to win these. So it was a good education. You saw him looking around when other horses were loading, seeing him, taking it all in. So I think this time, with the experience, he knows. If like how you were talking earlier about how the horse with experience were winning all these races second time out, it's just because they know, okay, get ready when this gate opens, I got to run out, and they just have that advantage. They're just so much quicker, the first 2 steps, and then it's hard to make up ground.
And no one wins the kindergarten. No one wins the Ed Burke as much as Jaime Gomez.
Yes.
Those early futurities, he has dominated over the last 25 years. He's just been outstanding in those early futurities. What about the 8? Chick's First Flash. Horse ran second, and it was the big favorite against Marcelo. Marcelo was a big surprise winning that night, and the only 2-year-old so far that's gone under 12 seconds at 220 yards. Chick's First Flash, that was still a really good time, 12:10. Monte Rosa won the Kindergarten Futurity last season. And Chick's First Flash, horse with talent.
And I think one of the main positives from Chick's First Flash was got to be that he showed gate speed first time out. His time was pretty solid despite being second by a length and 3/4 to the impressive winner Marcelo. And also, he has experience from the outside post now. He had the outside post first time out. He's going to get it once again. So I think they're probably thinking that was a great setup to be able to tackle now these trials, right, George?
Yeah, very professional. A lot of money. Horses are very professional. They, they're really good breakers. She ran straight, did everything, what they could ask. So it's you just need some mild improvement, and that'll be good enough to contend in this race. And already has that important experience from the outside, so should have a nice clean journey, and let's see how good he is.
All right, so those are some back-to-back interesting trials because there's no first-time starters. Everybody has experience, so it should be a couple of fun races and back-to-back. All right, race number 8. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys in which trial you guys will think will be the fastest trial of the night. Maybe that's another little side bet that we can work on as we move along. Maybe I'll circle back after we go through all the trials. All right, race number 8, the final pick 3 opportunity of the night. There's another one off of that BF outrageous professor, BF Lizzie Rages, who ran very well first time out. But we do have first time starters in here. The 3 for Juan Alaman and the 4 for Rodolfo Viramontes. We have Itinerary, who was a nice debut winner. But Professor, remind me, I don't know if I remember last season. I don't think we had an 1180 workout all year long last year.
Yeah, you don't see those too often. I mean, that's flying. And if we can show the workout, I mean, that was a legit 11.8. I mean, that horse was just flying, won pretty easily. He actually worked in tandem. Well, it was part of a 3-horse set And I think one of the horse that this horse worked with was one of the fervent dynasty runners from the Juan Aleman barn. He's got two of those going on Friday, and this horse, Duchek JQM, is going to be working from in between horses, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so Fervent is going to be on the inside. That horse will be running on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Duchek is the middle horse, and 60. What is the name? 60 is in the next race. He's on the outside.
I'm 60 man, or I'm a 60
I'm a 60 man.
Yeah, I'm a 60 man who's in on the outside in 3-team set. This one is in the next race, in race number 9. So let's focus on the middle horse, who's a horse in this race. Duchek JQM. Professor G, what did your eye see in this work?
Just flash. Gonna take off pretty quickly. No mistakes here, and the horse is just gonna start pulling away right about here, and just gonna leave them in the dust. Super professional. I mean, what can you pick at this from this workout? There's nothing to pick at.
And George, before we started recording, we were impressed by the workout, obviously, and we were hand timing it. We're like, all right, is this 1180? We were hand timing. We're getting close to the 1180. So this is a sharp workout every which way you look at it.
Yeah, we weren't even seeing if maybe it was windy that day, because you just don't see 1180s. Like, even if it's a race win on 1180, that'd be fast. So, and let alone in a workout, that's by far the most impressive. And Alaman looks like he's dialed in for these early races. He wants to win them. Normally, he was always later in the year. This year, it looks like he wants to win from the jump.
You know, you every once in a while you see an 11.9.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm an 11.8, but you're seeing them from older established horses.
Yes.
You know, you very rarely do you see them from a 2-year-old. This early in the year, especially.
And one of my main takeaways from that workout, Orlando, was that all three of them kept a pretty straight path. Like, it was a professional. Like, all of them worked very well. I mean, the third horse, who's running on Saturday, went in 12:40, and he looked slow. But 12:40 has been like the standard to win this year, right?
And that's kind of what I wrote in the notebook, that, you know, the horse went 12.4, but that was a sizzling fast work. I mean, it was a really good work just to go 12.4. It was just an exceptional group.
Yeah, you Photoshop those other two horses out, and you just put them like in a solo, and you know, you'd be ready to go to the windows.
Yes, good work.
All right, are we going to try to beat this first time starter?
Well, you got the experience. You know, we've been talking about that experience, and we have a couple of horses that have won in this race. Itinerary is you know, well priced horse, 55,000 out of the Heritage Place sale. The other horse, David's Last Patriot, did not go very fast. It was a slowish time, but still a winner. So you got to give him credit for that. And the outside horse, another Monte Rosa horse, number 8, Valiantly, ran third, showed good speed, but did kind of fade a little bit in that race. But still, top 3 efforts. You mentioned BF Lizarageous from the inside, so you have this is a pretty solid field. There's a lot of horses that have had some success already.
And I want to show the replay of BF Lizarageous, because there was some trouble there for this one. And April 2nd, BF Lizarageous was the inside. Actually drew out, so has the inside post this night, and it's going to have it once again on trials night. And she was right around 11-1 this night. And watch the start here for BF Lizarageous. She's going to lean inwards, appears to hit the inside part of the gate. But after that, she could have easily kind of just flattened out. But I like the way she kept on trying. It was a pretty solid effort, I thought.
Yeah, especially this early part of the year when you see a 2-year-old go from 5th to 2nd. It kind of makes you wonder, and say, hey, what's going to happen when those distances get a little bit longer.
Yeah, and she galloped out really well. If you saw how far they were from the rest of them, they just kept going. Like, she wanted to keep going, so distance shouldn't be the issue.
And maybe we'll keep an eye on what One Sweet Duck does earlier in the night, because that one was second to that runner in that common event. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this 1180 workout horse does first time out for Juan Aleman. All right, so let's move along to race number 9. There's 2 races left. You know what time it is? Late double time. Races 9 and 10. And in this race, 7 horses, 3 first-time starters. Is this the most we have in a specific race, guys? 3 first-time starters?
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so this is
we have
this
a
is one
couple
of
of
the
races with 2, but only race with 3.
All right, so we showed that workout of I'm a 60 man, who was on the outside. Do you want to see it again so we can focus on him?
Why not? I'm sure you already have it set up, so let's take a look.
And like George said, if you were just to focus ISO these workouts, you would bet each one of these 3 workouts, right, George? Like these 3 horses.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is going 12-10. That's a 12-10 work.
Yeah, the owner just called all of them and said, "Oh, how did my horse do?" Like, "Oh, got outworked by a length and a half." You're like, "Oh man,
oh man, come on." Yeah.
Yeah, don't mention that it went 12-10. Yeah.
All right, so here it is.
Or hey, how did my horse do? Went 12-10. Oh, great. We win by. No, he lost like 2 legs.
Yes. So here's a workout. He's on the outside of this 3-team set, and again, he looked very. There was a little bit nervousness there at the gate, but he broke fine after that, and he looked very professional. I mean, there's nothing really wrong.
Or anything.
Yeah, and look at the jockey's hands, nice and quiet. A little bit more here, but very quiet, especially at the beginning.
And I like his body, his build. I think he might be the biggest out of these 3 workers. He just looks more. I don't know. Visually, he looks plenty strong, plenty fit.
Yeah, $62,000 they paid for this horse at the equine sale. Good looking runner.
Yeah.
Don Cavanaugh, I think he's the owner of Uncle D, the Cavanaugh Racing. They paid this horse. So.
All right, George, what do you think of this race? We saw that first-time starter. What about the experienced runners?
The experienced runners didn't really, besides the rail horse, but the problem with the rail horse is that, when I put avoided trouble, that usually means that everybody else had trouble and this horse didn't. And that's what happened this race. But, the time was good, 12:25, but it didn't, make me say single, especially on the rail. So I was trying to look for a firster besides I'm a 60 man, try to get, a little creative and find a long shot. I just couldn't. Nothing else that, really jumped out at me. Like Cheers Corona was pretty green in their second work. I was hoping for something, more professional. I just didn't see it. So she's going to have to prove to me that she can, be professional, not lug in, not, maintain that straight path. First Nava Cartel ran okay. I thought, it was professional. It just wasn't, exciting to me. I didn't see anything like, oh man, I can't wait to bet this horse next time. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be between the rail horse, VGK Firefly, and then the first time starter, and I'm a 60 man.
What do you think, Professor?
Yeah, off of that work, I think I'm a 60 man is the horse that I like here, and I had a little bit of a hard time thinking, okay, who can beat this horse, even though some of these horses have experience here, and the winner, 12:25 from that March 26th, good time, but if that horse I'm a 60 man takes another step forward off of those works, and he's improved from first work to second work, I have a hard time imagining that they can beat him.
So we expect I'm a 60 man to be strong favorite there in race number 9. All right, let's go to race number 10, the final trial of the evening. And this is going to have a field of 8 runners. There's only one first-time, actually, scratch that. There's 2 first-time starters. Double A Cartel, the 2 horse, and the 4 A Rev for Juan Aleman. But I thought there was plenty of talent, specifically on the 2 debut winners and also the runner of KR Bikini Bar. But I was very impressed with the performance by Mas Interest, guys.
Yeah, Corona Masfina is the mare. She's produced a Greatest Stakes winner in Uno Mas Corona. We also have a horse out of the same mare running on a Saturday night, Disruptor.
Yes.
For Elena Andrade. So really nice breeding separate interest. They paid $28,000 for this runner, and at first asking wins by a half length. Another good runner from Dan Farias, a stable. Another good 2-year-old runner from that stable. And Gildardo Garcia, you know, he usually has a homebred from Secretly Hot, but he spent some money to get this horse. So interesting.
And George, wasn't this one of the very first nights we had 2-year-old races?
Yeah, because the second place runner already came back and ran and won pretty good in 12-12. Yeah, I think this is probably the most competitive race. Like I could see five horses winning this race. I could see Moss Interest winning. I could see I'm Born to Fly. You know, even though it looked like he, you know, on the chart he went from a half up to win by nose, she still had more in. And if you watch the gallop out, she never lets the outside horse get in front of her. So that was an easier than looked win. And then that horse came back and won as well, Corona Rose. And then another, you know, the typical Monty professional horse, KR Bikini Bar, ran good in a solid 12-20, you know. Can't complain. That horse can easily win if anybody makes mistakes. So yeah, I think this is probably, I would have to be spread here if I'm playing a pick six, and to feel safe, I would have to go 4 or 5 deep. This is a good betting race. And then you got the Alaman,
you
know, firster that's worked good. It's a pretty good field.
And you haven't mentioned the 3 frivolous.
Yes,
they paid
who had the trouble.
$80,000. That's one of the highest amounts, I think, out of the horses in the kindergarten. From a purchase from a sale, $80,000, and this horse was 6th at the start, ended up finishing 3rd, and you wrote that just barely missed 2nd. So I don't know. Can we watch that race? Since make that nice little move at the end there, Jose.
Yeah, we'll show that one after this one. This is a replay of Mas Interest, who's going to have the inside post tonight and had the inside post this night. This filly by Corona, out of Corona Masfina. She went favored here, and a field that got scratched down to 4 runners. But you know, she has the experience from the inside post now. Rodrigo was aboard that night, and she ended up taking a bump at the start there, right there, a few strikes out of the gate. But after that, she kind of, it didn't take too much out of her momentum. She kind of kept to task, and she ended up winning, by about half a length. She was a betting favorite. She was expected to do well. I like that she ran well from the inside post. It's never an easy post to run well, and I think she handled it, fairly fine that night.
You got experience from the inside post, which is where you're going to start from again.
Yeah, and one of my angles back in the day has always been Rodrigo on the rail. Rodrigo rail, him and Eduardo Nicasio, to me, are 2 riders that enjoy being on the rail for whatever reason.
Eduardo loves the rail.
Yeah, they look comfortable on the rail. They have no problem keeping a horse straight.
Yeah, they're quick to get them going and leveling them. So when they're on the rail or the outside, they only have about 1 horse bumping them, versus in between, where you could be quick all you want, but if one or inside or outside come out on you, that just hurts you.
Yeah, those are 2 riders that just seem to excel on the rail. They have, they ride with a lot of confidence. Eduardo Nicasio and Rodrigo Aceves. So let me bring up the replay of Frivolous, which was April 2nd as well, that night of 2-year-old races. And Frivolous, we talked about the nice breeding of the eventual winner, who was One Sweet Duck. Well, this horse went favorite, Orlando, over that horse, right? Because of that 12:30 bullet workout. And we're going to take a look at the replay here. Frivolous was the
3 horse.
The 3 horse here. So here's the replay. You were talking about, Orlando, that this is a full sibling to Monopolis, right?
Full sibling to Monopolis, a Grade 2 Futurity winner, and the owner of some of the most impressive races that we've seen when he came back as a 3-year-old. And look at how slow Frivolous broke, kind of a little bit of a bobble there. And look how big he's finishing here. He just missed 2nd, and he barely beat the other horses for 3rd.
Yeah.
Good effort, and look at the way he just continues here after the wire. I like to see the horse improve. 2nd time out, I think the horse will.
All right, so my top selection, guys, is going to be Mas Interest. I like the experience from that inside post. I know the time wasn't as flashy as others. I'm just banking that experience from that inside, and some of that pedigree will show improvement second time out. But there's plenty of different ways to go. I'll go with the one. Who do you guys like?
I like I'm Born to Fly. I thought he has the fastest time. And if I had to pick a second, I would go Frivolous because she's in between two first-time starters, so should outbreak them. And then I think that's who I like. That would be my exacta. I'm giving it out already for the consensus. I'm Born to Fly and Frivolous.
Professor, you got to go against us now because of the consensus.
Well, I think George hit the nail on the head. This is, I think, the most competitive trial. So I'm going to go with the 3, Frivolous.
Okay.
That's the one that I like. I think the horse can improve off of that. Pretty solid effort. I think the horse can break better than that. The horse has shown it in the morning works, that there's talent there, and the breeding is just outstanding. Full sister to Monopolist. I'll go with the $80,000 purchase, Frivolous.
All right, and just for fun, guys, what trial do you think is going to produce the fastest? Is it where there's a one standout favorite, or where it looks like it could be more competitive race? So I'll pick your brain first, George. What do you think the fastest time of the night will be?
I'm gonna go with One Sweet Bar in the 5th. The other obvious, I guess, would be the first time starter. It's just like first time starter and fastest qualifier. That's too much. To hope for. So I'm going with my best bet of the night. I'm going with One Sweet Bar as my fastest qualifier.
Professor?
Well, usually we get the fastest qualifier either in the first trial or in the very last trial after I've written my story.
Yes. Yes.
So I think the most competitive race will also produce the fastest qualifier, race number 10. Let's see. Whoever wins this race, I think, will be fastest qualifier.
And I'm going to go with the first leg because the first leg usually sets a pretty good bar.
Yeah.
I'm going to say first leg. So I'll go race number 4. George says race number 5. And then Professor says the nightcap, when he's going to be fumbling and deleting his words and retyping a new story and all this, right?
Yeah. Oh, done that a million times.
All right. So that's a look at these trials. Thank you, George, for joining us here. You'll be handling the charts on trials night. Looking forward to it. Thank you for the handicapping. Hey, we bet a pick 4 at Remington. I know you have it on your TV over there. What race is up?
The 9th. The first race, the 1 won the race. So if you had the 1, it was a chalk, 4 to 5.
Yeah, and on Saturday,
I'm out.
And on Saturday, our simulcast program, we have, of course, our live racing action from Los Al. Remington Park's going strong. Added now, Sam Houston. Sam Houston is part of the simulcast action here at Los Alamitos, and of course the Meadowlands. So lots of good action on Saturday. And looking forward to the kindergarten trials on Sunday.
Should be fun. Should be a fun night of trials, fun weekend because there's plenty of 2-year races also on Saturday night. Is our post time expected to be similar as last week, Professor?
Actually, we're going earlier on Saturday, 6 p.m.
Okay.
And I'm gonna probably guess about the same since Santa Anita isn't going on this weekend. Golden Gate. No reason to run too late, I'm going to assume. So we probably should have some, earlier than recently usual post times that we've had. 6 p.m. for sure on Saturday.
Sounds good. Pizza on the line, guys. Pizza on the line. We have no drama about the rules, right? We laid the groundwork here. We can always.
No, there's only one. George. There's only one person that has drama, and it ain't me.
Well, you're the creator of the rules, I would hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why.
All right. I don't want to see any text change here going back and forth. Like, no, the rules are laid out. These are the rules for the consensus.
Sounds good.
All right. George, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Professor, have a good night as well. We'll see you, both of you guys, this weekend at Los Al.
Right. Thanks so much, George, for joining us.
Anytime.